Let's speak about Lordstown Motors, baby. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and today we're going to be speaking about the juicy company that is Lordstown Motors. Now, I haven't given any major updates on these guys since I made my first video on them. I've mentioned them in videos here and there, but if you are an EV investor, you will know that things are very exciting right now. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen Hyliion go up pretty much 100%. We've seen Tesla go up over 50%. Yesterday, we saw NIO go up over 20%. And yesterday, we even saw Workhorse go up over 10% after, the slow days they've been having. Essentially, us long EV investors have finally been seeing some really juicy moves. But there are a few companies who haven't kept up. One of them being Lordstown Motors. Now, they have not performed badly by any means whatsoever. They are up over 40% since the merger was announced in less than a month, which is absolutely incredible. But for a Spac in the position that they are in, with the pre-orders they have, the plant they have, everything they have going for them, these guys, in my opinion, have an awful lot of room to run. And I think we are seeing some people take some profits from some of these EV companies that have gone up, and they are putting it into these ones that haven't yet. And that is one of the reasons that I think today in particular is going to be a good day for Lordstown Motors. Now, anything can happen. If you've been following DPHC, you know that we don't even really generally get 5% moves on a daily basis. And by the way, it is 10:41 as I am recording this. Markets open at 2:30 p.m. in Ireland. So I'm not recording this after we've already had a good or bad day. It's just my prediction. On my Instagram story the other day, I put up a story and I said, if you are upset about missing out on Hyliion, if you didn't get invested, start doing your due diligence on DPHC, Lordstown Motors. Because genuinely, guys, I believe these guys have so much potential. But anyway, we're going to get into all of that today. Right before we do that, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, as it helps me out so much. I really would appreciate it. The support you guys have been showing lately has been insane. If you're new around here, join the family. Hit that juicy red subscribe button, people. And drop me a comment down below. Let me know if you're involved in Lordstown Motors or if you're thinking about getting involved. With that being said, guys, into the video. So the very first thing I actually want to do today is just have a look at the stock chart, so we can see the day the merger get announced, up 21%. The following day we're up as much as pretty much 27%. We saw a minor pullback, down 4.38%. Down 0.24, down 1.2, up 2.69, and essentially we don't see very big movements in this company whatsoever, which again, guys, is by no means a bad thing. This is something that I've said about Workhorse before as well. It's given us more time to accumulate more shares. I'll say it now, I am a shareholder. I have 80 shares and I have those at a cost basis of 12.86, but today I more than likely will be buying more, somewhere in the realms of 20 to 50 shares, depending on how I feel, because I do think that this one is just getting started and it's getting ready to go up in value very soon. Now, it could take a few weeks, it could be longer than I expect, but I don't think we're going to see it much lower than this price, in all honesty. So if you don't know anything about the company, I'll bring you through the basics really quickly. This right here is Lordstown's baby, okay? The Lordstown Endurance pickup truck. The world's first all-electric commercial pickup truck. They want to be the first to market. And I believe that's part of the reason why they decided to go with a Spac as opposed to a traditional IPO, is to, raise capital faster and ultimately get to market and full production faster. On the topic of production, we already have 27,000 pre-orders. And I'm seeing rumours float around that it could be up as high as 50,000 by the end of the year. Again, as far as I'm concerned, they're rumours. I've tried to fact check it. I've tried to find those sources. I can't. But I definitely don't think that is outside of the realms of possibility. So this is a definitive merger agreement with Diamond Peak as well. It's definitive. It is happening. Initial production is expected in the second half of 2021. Approximately $675 million of gross proceeds that are expected from the transition will be used to fund production of the Endurance and its innovative in-wheel electric hub motor design. This is one of the big selling points. The transaction includes a $500 million fully committed PIPE, which includes $75 million of investments by General Motors, in addition to investments from institutional investors. So, pro forma implied equity value of the combined company is approximately $1.6 billion. And that is at $10 per share PIPE price, and assuming minimal redemptions by Diamond Peak stockholders. So currently, pre-merger, we're sitting at just over a $500 million market cap. Also, we currently have a very low float of under 25 million shares, and 62.18% of shares are held by institutions as of right now. They're valued at a 965 million EV with a strong balance sheet, and that implies an attractive valuation versus peer averages, and I most certainly believe that to be true. And Lordstown will have $675 million of cash to fund operations and growth. This is a very important part, very important part here. No additional capital requirements expected between now and going to market to achieve positive cash flow. So one thing that says to me is that we may not see any share dilution become necessary, which is something we see an awful lot of the time with these SPAC companies, especially these EV companies. Now, me personally, I actually don't mind share dilution all that much. I know that's controversial because it means our shares become worth less. But if the company has to do it and it puts them in a better cash position and it means that they can grow faster and ultimately you get a better return, I don't mind. But it is a good thing if they may not have to do that. And the ownership will look like this: 48% existing shareholders, 21% SPAC and founder shares, and 30% PIPE investors. And one thing I want to say quickly, okay, with those 27,000 pre-orders that we are aware of right now that we do expect to actually be higher, that equates to about $1.4 billion worth of pre-orders. So I mean, right off the bat, an awful lot of expected revenue within the next couple of years, all going to plan. And with production more than likely not happening until the second half of 2021, that's even more time for more pre-orders and, you know, really good quarters and years down the line. So one of the things you really need to know about the company is this, okay? That GM, General Motors, has sold Lordstown factory to the offshoot of a struggling EV startup, which now isn't even a struggling EV startup. Lordstown Motors bought this absolutely massive plant off of General Motors when General Motors was really struggling. So the closed General Motors factory in Lordstown, Ohio has been at the center of the company's tension with President Trump as a new owner, Lordstown Motors. The deal could bring hundreds, maybe thousands of jobs back to the area. Now, Lordstown Motors was created by Steve Burns, the founder and former CEO of Workhorse. And I mean, if you're up to date with this channel, you know that I believe there are certain political motives behind, you know, Workhorse doing well, somewhat getting part of the USPS contract, etc. All that will do very good things for Lordstown as well. And just the fact that Lordstown bought this plant in Ohio that was closed down and left hundreds and hundreds of people without jobs, that is a very good thing. And guys, this isn't speculation. Let me show you something. This video right here, day 2 of the Republican National Convention.
From Ohio, who heard politicians for years make empty promises about defending American jobs, only to see those promises broken again and again. But in 2019, when General Motors closed its plant in Lordstown, Ohio, President Donald Trump refused to stand by and watch it happen. And as Gino observed, this president reached out to General Motors to find a way to bring jobs back to Lordstown. And plans were soon set into motion to create Lordstown Motors.
But I mean, it makes an awful lot of sense, people. It's a great thing. It brings a lot of jobs to the community. Friday, August 30th, 2019. DeWine signals support for future of Lordstown plant. So this is the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine. A lot of you will be aware of him from Workhorse. He pledged state assistance for the idle General Motors Lordstown complex, whether that means a new GM product at the plant or another entity that would take over the building. As of right now, we know it was another entity that took over. We know how important this is to Mahoning Valley, how important it is to the state of Ohio. The government understands how important this plant in particular is. And we saw them in this video right here speaking about that. I mean, Mike Pence went to Lordstown Motors. June 24th, 2020. Government Mike DeWine said he expects success from Lordstown plant in first normal press conference during pandemic. Really, this is the future, DeWine said, of the truck and the facility where he got a private tour. I think this truck has a great competitive advantage over its competitors. I mean, these guys have Ohio behind them. They are very important to Ohio right now. But really, guys, let's just think about it super logically. Okay, this is a SPAC. SPACs are generally $10 a share or so before, you know, an announcement gets made in regards to who they want to merge with. They're still sitting at $14.45 a share. The downside quite literally is $10 a share if everything went absolutely horrifically. The risk here is low. It is very low, especially in regards to a company that we know for a fact has 27,000 pre-orders and more than likely has considerably more at this stage, and a company who has enough cash once this merger goes through to get them through to full production without having to dilute shares or do anything else. I mean, guys, think about it. It makes a lot of sense. This is one of the companies, guys, where the hype just has not caught up to the company yet. There is no doubt in my mind that hype and momentum are major drivers in regards to these SPACs. But Lordstown is one who actually has the pre-orders, etc. to back up this hype. It's one of the companies where the hype will be very justified. And if they get to the market first, before Tesla, before any other major competitors, it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I think they will be able to do so. So the pricing is fair. This one here is after $7,500 of tax credits. And as far as I can tell, they didn't include any potential tax credits for the competitors, but still it is at a fairly decent price. As far as the market's concerned, this is definitely fair value, especially for what you're paying for. They are doing everything they can to be the first to market and have this incredible product. A relationship structured to enable success. Lordstown Motors and GM. The Lordstown complex transferred in a near production ready state and capable of large annual production volume with only modest incremental investment. Access to GM parts catalog saves months in design timings and millions in certification costs. And the GM plans to invest in the pipe and has the right to appoint an LMC board member. So this is a fantastic relationship to have, it most certainly is, and it just puts Lordstown in such a good position, and that's why I think that their growth over the short term, over the span of a couple of years, could be insane. I'll speak about Hyliion just because, you know, they're all the rave right now, but remember when their merger got announced, they boomed up in value, okay, a couple of % in a matter of a couple of weeks, not even. Then they came back down, okay? Then they really started to boom as this merger gets closer and closer. Lordstown Motors didn't have that initial insane boom because there's been more Spacs since then, okay? People don't just get excited about Spacs anymore. But as people figure out how good of a company this is, and that it's not just a high play, it's not just a Spac, I expect very similar moves like this one that happened with Hyliion over the last few days to happen in the near future. Now guys, again, on this plant, what I want you to keep in mind, okay, the estimated annual vehicle capacity is at 600,000 plus. They're not going to have to expand for a very long time. They're not going to have those fees. That is all going to go straight to profitability. They'll also be able to outsource if necessary. Workhorse is one. On the interview I did with the Workhorse CFO, I asked if they think they'll ever have to, you know, outsource to Lordstown Motor for prediction reasons. And he said it's a great option to have. And I'm sure they're going to have that option with other companies as well, because at the end of the day, there is no way they're going to need to be producing this many vehicles for a considerable period of time. And it's only going to cost about $120 million of investment to retool the equipment for full production readiness. I mean, with the cash they are going to have on hand, that isn't even a large percentage of it by any means. So here is their financial overview, okay? And by 2024, a gross profit of $1 billion, okay, that will represent an 18.6% margin and would only reflect a market share of 3.5% by 2024, which personally, I think is extremely, and I mean extremely realistic. By 2023-2024, we'll probably see a considerable amount of more competition, but this will be, in my opinion, a very well established brand and very well established, respected name in the industry. I think they will be a big competitor in this market. I mean, they have one of the best plants that is out there. They're going to be in a fantastic financial position going forwards. They have so many pre-orders and an amazing product. It makes sense. But guys, that is it. I just wanted to make an update video on these guys because I really do think that we are going to blow up quite shortly. I could be wrong. It could take a little bit longer than expected. We'll just have to wait and see. And again, I do want to make it clear, I am an investor and I do plan on buying more. So, you know, I'm obviously biased to the upside. Always make sure to do your own due diligence on these companies because as we've seen over the last couple of months, electric vehicle stocks in general are extremely volatile, and you throw a Spac into the mix and it gets even crazier. So people, if you have watched until the end of the video, I appreciate you so much. You, my friend, are a true legend. Over the last few days, I've just been posting the content that I want, okay? There's been a lot of EV content because that's what interests me the most and that's what excites me the most. And I was worried that we'd get loads of backlash and the videos wouldn't do well, but the support has been insane, and you can probably even just tell from my tone in the videos. I just feel so much better about making them now. So thank you to everybody who is supporting me regardless. Thank you to everybody who just watches the content and enjoys it for what it is. It means an awful lot to me. It really, really does. I really do hope I was able to give you some value and insight in regards to Lordstown Motors in today's video, people. If I did and you haven't yet, could I please ask you to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and drop me a comment down below because those things really are what help grow this channel. And of course, guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for the next video. Peace.